The problem is that you are not low on energy. It's just that you've been taught to work wrong. The way that we have been taught to work is one way to work. And it's been indirectly marketed as this one size fits all foundation of how the world works, how success works, how we are meant to work to be successful. Hello, gorgeous soul, and welcome back to the Essence Show and podcast. I am so happy that you're here. Thank you for joining me today and clicking play on this episode. If you are not yet subscribed, make sure you click that subscribe button. If you are listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcast, make sure you follow along on the podcast so that you can be updated every single week on Wednesday when a new episode is released. And share it along. Share it with someone who you know would appreciate it. Please let me know in the comments how this episode resonated with you at the end. I'm going to be giving you some aligned actions, some tips, some grounded, embodied work that you can do around this topic. So please stay tuned, and you can share that with me, how it resonated with you in the comments as well. Leave a review, leave a rating, 5 out of 5 if that resonates with you. I love creating this content for you. I love sharing this work. And is one of the reasons why I have built an entire business around it. And it's so beautiful to me to hear from you personally what is shifting, what's resonating, what you want to hear more of. So I would love for you to take the time to do that. Okay, let's dive in. We are talking today about what cyclical harmony is. Cyclical harmony is one of my main pillars of what I talk about. We talk about subconscious redesign, which I have an entire video about exactly what that is and why that's so powerful and how it works to be mindscaping your brain. I'll link that for you. Another one is sacred balance, which is all about this balance between the masculine and feminine energies and how you're showing up to work and creating success. And then we have cyclical harmony. And this is one of my favorite things ever because it has completely transformed my life. I think that this is actually one of the main pieces that brought me to the business that I have today and the kind of work that I do around coaching and energetics, because it is just so powerful. And I think we know it now. Slowly it's coming more to the forefront. We talk about it a little bit more, but to be quite honest, like, we are not incorporating it into our daily lives yet. Like, we talk about it in this coaching industry, in the spiritual space for sure, but when we actually look at corporate work environments, how we're showing up there, like, of course it's a process. It's going to take some time, which is one of the reasons why I'm so freaking passionate about it. And we are doing another video on it. So cyclical harmony, what that means for me and the way that we're going to talk about it today and the way that I teach it and coach on it and share it is these are cyclical codes for living harmoniously, for living in harmony with yourself, with your body, with the energies around you, with the cycles of nature, with the cycles of the universe, with the cycles of the moon, all of those things. And these are literal codes that are embedded in your body. They are embedded in nature, and they create the cyclical nature, which also exists within you. One of the reasons why linear success is literally a myth, and it is a very destructive myth, if we're being honest. And when we start to tap into these naturally occurring rhythms and these codes that we can actually activate in our lives, that's when you become harmonious in your life, right? You become harmonious in flow, you become harmonious in the results that you magnetize towards yourself, and you become harmonious with yourself and with your body. And basically what that leads to is alignment with what you're here to do, how you're meant to show up, how you're meant to live, feeling really fucking good, living a life based in pleasure on a daily basis. So why do we not have that? Why do we not talk about these things more often? Why is this something that's not at the forefront of how we do work and success? And the real problem is because, like, let's just be clear about why you're actually watching this video, right? Like, maybe you're actually interested in cyclical living. You're interested in like cycle syncing. You're interested in, syncing with your menstrual cycle. You're interested in the cosmos and like astrology and those seasons, whatever it is. Maybe you like literally clicked on this video because you're like, oh, I want to learn more about this specifically. Maybe though you're in this community because you are tired. You are done with like this hustle grind mode, this survival success. You are feeling frustrated with things not moving forward fast enough. You're feeling low on energy. So you're like, I just don't have the motivation to get up in the morning. I feel like I'm procrastinating. I feel like I just don't want to do this work, even if it's a business that you're really excited about. Maybe it was a dream job at one point and now you're like, I don't like it anymore. I feel exhausted at the end of the day. I feel like I don't have time to do the things that I love. Maybe you are like, I just don't have time. Like, I don't have time outside of work. I feel like work consumes me even when I'm not working. I'm thinking about working. I'm thinking about the projects and so on. And so if that's the reason why you're listening to this, then you, my friend, are in the right place. Both reasons, all reasons, let's be real. But the real problem isn't that, okay? I want to just be really clear. It's not that you don't have enough energy. It's not that you don't have enough time. It's not that you are not good with motivation or that you're a procrastinator. You are not, okay? That's just a belief. And I will link a video about subconscious redesign to hone in on that with you, because that's one of the things that really gets a lot of my clients and a lot of people, and even myself in the past, really caught up, because we identify so much with the thing that we're struggling with that we can't see ourselves outside of that identity to actually begin to move past it. Another conversation. But essentially, the problem is that you are not low on energy. It's just that you've been taught to work wrong. The way that we have been taught to work is one way to work. And it's been marketed, indirectly marketed, as this one size fits all foundation of how the world works, how success works, how we are meant to work to be successful. And just like everything in this world, it's just a construct of belief systems. It's a set of beliefs, right? It's like, this is how you work. This is how you do school. This is how you do relationships. This is how politics works. This is how you pay taxes. Like, we are, as human beings, have just created these belief systems, these ways of being, and they're made up, right? And they're necessary because they create structure and order in our society. But at the core, we have created them. We have made them up, right? And so when we look at work, and me saying like, the way that you've been working is wrong, the reason you don't have enough energy at the baseline, again, there might be some other physical symptoms that are coming up, but I would like to argue that if there are other physical symptoms coming up, there's probably something deeper within this actual work that is out of alignment. And this is kind of the first step to healing those physical symptoms as well. But if you're low on energy, for example, it's because the way that we've been taught to work is wrong. And you having a womb, you have a 28-day hormonal cycle, right? And men have a 24-hour hormonal cycle. So the whole construct of the 9 to 5, working every day at the same level of productivity, is very, very different for men who, by the way, let's just look at the history, created the public sphere, the work sphere. So of course, the way that their energy ebbs and flows is very different to the way that your energy having a womb ebbs and flows. And so the way that you are meant to show up and work and exert your energy to create the kind of things that you are here to create, to do the work that you're here to do, is going to be very different. But when no one tells you that growing up, when no one markets that, when no one even accepts it, so maybe this is something that you know and you're like, oh, I would love to be more engaged with like my cyclical nature, but it's really hard considering the kind of work environment that I'm in, or like the acceptability of it. Of course, these are kind of like the layered things that we want to look at on top of that then. So even though we have a 28-day hormonal cycle, we still work every day 9 to 5. Can I hear a Dolly Parton song, please? But this is bigger than just cycle syncing, right? So cyclical harmony, a part of that is cycle syncing with your body, with your menstrual cycle. But cyclical harmony, in the way that we're going to talk about it today, in the way that I teach it, is much bigger than just connecting to your body. And it's really about living in harmony with your body and the energy around you, right? So we talked about earlier, we talked about nature, we talked about the cosmos, we talked about the seasons, we talked about the moon. So the real problem comes down to this. Like I said before, the real problem is not that you're low on energy, that you don't have enough time, that you don't have a good enough structure, like blah, 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 blah. None of that is actually true, okay? It's the physical problem that you feel right now, for sure. Let me honor and validate you in that. And honestly, like, give you so many props right now, celebrating you for even recognizing that you're feeling that way and recognizing that as an issue. The real problem, however, is that you are living from the outside in, right? Often, sometimes not even in, just outside, right? And when in reality, you are meant to be living from the inside out. So when I say sometimes you're not even living in, it just means like I'm just focused externally, always, always, always externally. I don't even go from the outside inward, but really that's not even the direction that we want to be going, or the correct direction we want to be going. We want to be going from the inside out. So starting internally, we want to start with your body. So that's why I also started this video with the concept of cycle syncing, like actually with your body and like this hormonal cycle, because we want to start with you, who you are, how your body works, how you flow, how your energies ebb and flow. And starting with the essence of your inner nature, your inner cycle. So, of course, knowing that you have a certain hormonal cycle that works differently than a 9 to 5 cycle per se, and actually needs an entire month to complete these different phases of a cycle, is the first step to going inward first. Of course, we can layer that on top with all of the other cycles then. So then come in the cycles of the nature around you. So what season are we currently in? What season are you in your life? Are you in an ebb season? Are you in a flow season? Are you in an inner winter, inner summer, inner spring, inner fall? And then like what season are you in different areas of your life? We can talk about projects that you're in, relationships, family matters, goals, visions that you have. So we're kind of starting to create these flow cycles just within what you're doing. We can also look at the cosmic seasons, right? I said the seasons of the year, but the cosmic seasons are actually like divided almost month to month. So we have 12 of those throughout the year, and they all activate different energies for us and kind of encourage us to work or rest or create balance or pleasure in certain ways. And then, of course, we also have the monthly moon cycles and the daily moon cycles. The moon shifts signs every 2 to 3 days. So every 2 to 3 days, we kind of tap into another cycle, another energy, another way to use this energy for work, rest, and success. And so when we look at these different elements, and you can even go deeper, and this is something that I do in one-on-one coaching, I also do this in my Rest for Success course, we're actually looking at your specific energy, right? So that can mean your cosmic astrological birth chart. Where do your energies ebb and flow specifically for you? So we're layering that on top of your hormonal monthly menstrual cycle, the cycle of your body, for example. So there's so many cycles that are happening. And when we show up to work in the way that we've been taught to work, we're completely disregarding these cycles. But all of these cycles start from within you, understanding yourself, understanding your body, understanding your energy levels, understanding your ebbs and flows, reflecting and understanding where you are at in your life right now in these different phases of the cycles based on, where you're at in these different phases of your life. If this is something that you do want to get into more and you want to kind of start recognizing this, I break down the energies of these cycles that are happening around us and within us, and how to use the energies for work, for pleasure, for rest, for success, for planning, productivity, for tapping into flow every single week in a weekly cyclical guides to harmonious living. That is a free email that you get every single Friday to your inbox. I will leave the link below in the description, and you can sign up for that and just start to tune into these cycles, see how they resonate with you, notice the nature of the repetition of it. So like when the cycles repeat, do you feel the same way again? Are you primed for the same kind of work? Are you feeling productive? Are you feeling groggy? Do you need to nurture your energy in a different way? So these are all really powerful ways that you can start to go in first in order to create success without externally. So harmonious living happens from an internal foundation. This is where I'm going to tell you the big secret that, you feel like, oh, there's something that everyone knows that I don't know. Trust me, most people don't know this, but this is the big secret, which is that you do possess a manual for life, for how to do life, for how to be productive, for how to manifest and create the things that you want. And these are your cyclical codes. This is your inner cyclical nature. Most of us, when we're working outside in, we're so focused on what we're doing as opposed to how we are doing it. And having these cyclical codes really focuses you in on how you are showing up to something, so that you can really manage your energy properly and do things at the right time so that you can yield the greatest result. So again, most of us are so focused on outside first, externally first, that we're focused more on the what. Think about that for yourself, which is basically an example is like, what is it that I need to do here? What structure can I put into place? Okay, how can I market myself the most here? How can I apply to all the jobs? Like it's like more is always more. How can I do more? Am I doing enough? And we're so focused on basically piling up the what's, if that makes sense. But the what's don't necessarily get you quicker results. If anything, it gives you the result of overwhelm because it's too many things, which in turn leaves you feeling exhausted and stressed. Again, not the feelings that we want, and you're disconnected from yourself. You're disconnected from that inside first, that within to without, and you're not in alignment with these natural cyclical nature codes and ways to flow within you. So by following the ebbs and flows of the cycles that exist within you and around you, you literally start to create harmony and alignment in your life because you're no longer swimming against the current, but actually allowing it to hold you, to give you that extra momentum on your journey. Basically, this results in having immense clarity in what tasks actually need to get done, knowing how and when to show up, when to exert energy and what kind of energy to exert, understanding your energy levels and how to manage them, having more time, knowing when you are primed for what work and how to use the energies around you in all the cycles in order to show up in alignment, in order to really, again, support you. Like if you are, as a very basic example, not a morning person, why are you forcing yourself to get up at 6:30 in the morning and immediately start work if you know the best time for you to work is at 3 p.m., for example? Again, that's a work-related example, but it's the same thing, like understanding what the cycles are for you. You create more ease in your life. It's literally why I call it cyclical harmony, because you, by using these codes, by implementing these cycles, create harmony and ease in your life. You create spaciousness in your day because, again, we're taking out tasks. It's so nice. You're not feeling like you're constantly racing against a ticking time bomb. This is literally how I felt, like living in this linear nature, living to create linear success, and on this 9 to 5 productivity hustle cycle. I constantly felt like I was like reaching and reaching and reaching and reaching and just somehow could never hit the summit or like the plateau, even to like pause and be like, okay, we did enough. Like, that's good. It was always like a very short, what I call compensation rest or like a compensation break, because the breaks that I took was like a quick Netflix show or a quick drink with a friend, but it never felt like, oh, I can really relax into this. I can really be here now, because I'm still in my mind racing to complete something just to complete the next thing. Does that make sense? So these are literally ancient wisdoms. Like this cyclical harmony and the cycle syncing that I teach within this, the cyclical codes, it's not like I just like made that up on the spot. Of course, I have my own magic that I interweave into it, and then my own approach to it, which is also why I have my own title and name for it. But these go back like thousands and thousands of years. Like these are ancient teachings, ancient wisdoms, literal frameworks for structuring your life, your work, your days, your goals, and your projects. Okay. So again, the result is that you create harmony from within to without. That's what's going to help you and actually enable you to be a co-creator in this manifestation process, in creating the things that you want to create and achieving what you want to achieve in your life and having the success that you desire, because it comes from here first. You're setting up the foundation so that you're rooted really strong in your embodiment, in how you're showing up in your cycles. And the beauty of this for someone like me, who is a recovering perfectionist, type A overachiever, people pleaser, is that this provides me with a bit of structure. Not a lot, because I love structure. I love organization. That is my old default mode, like literally over structuring, over planning, over organizing everything, which is unhealthy, right? That's a sense of control. I needed control to feel safe. It's a false sense of safety. That's not how I want to be living my life, right? But because I love it and it does create safety and structure is important, like we need healthy, sacred structure. This is a really powerful and beautiful and intentional way to create structure, to have a framework for how you can be showing up, what works for you, and really fine tuning it to your own needs and desires, because you have a unique code that you ebb and flow with within this framework. It always allows you to step into flow with that. So that's what it's done for me. It's been a rough structure, or a little bit of a sprinkle of structure that has made me feel safe, so that I don't have too much structure, which takes away flow. Like too much or too little structure will always kill the flow. Always, always, always. But it's an intuitive process, which basically means it's an art form based on a science, based on strategy. So we have art form plus science, intuition plus strategy. And like this combination is that beautiful co-creation of masculine and feminine energies which allows you to really show up in alignment. So I'm going to leave you with that. Let me know in the comments below what resonated with you most. Do you practice cyclical harmony in your life? Do you feel the harmony that the cycles bring you in your life? When I say something like, this linear model of success is a myth, is that like, oh my God, that feels so good. Like all of a sudden I don't feel this pressure anymore. Like I want more of that. Let me know in the comments below. My Rest for Success course is currently available. So if you do want to dive deeper into this work, it's a 6-week course and you can really we really dive into harnessing all of this so that you can start living in your cyclical harmony. And of course, one-on-one coaching if you want to dive deeper, because this is unique to you. This is a unique cycle. And of course, there's the general ebbs and flows. And that's what I talk about. Again, joining the weekly newsletter guide is going to be really powerful for that, so that you can start tuning into this on a very low pressure basis. But if you really want to go deep and really decode your energy levels and all of that good stuff, one-on-one coaching is for you. All of the links are in the description below. I'm going to leave you there for today, my lovelies. Have a lovely rest of your week, a beautiful day. Thank you for watching, listening, subscribing, sharing, liking, all of the good things, and I will see you here next time. Hey, Sacred Success and Freedom Seeker. Are you ready to activate your most productive and successful self? I bet you are. If you're nodding your head yes, then the second brand new Sacred Success Guide, 3 Cyclical Codes to Boost Productivity, is literally made for you. In this sacred guide, you will be activating the 3 cyclical codes for boosting your productivity and in turn your results so that you can step into sacred success. Not only that, but when you boost your productivity, you actually get more done in less time because you're tapped into a flow state, and therefore you actually get back more time and energy. Imagine living a life where not everything was urgent all the time, and you didn't feel the pressure to be productive because you simply were. Goodbye procrastination, and say later to burnout and overwhelm. This method that I'm teaching you inside this guide changed the game for me, and it saved me from my burnout cycle. This is the core foundation of how I run my business today and how I live in my freedom frequency every single day. Oh, and did I mention that there's a 20-minute mini training that goes along with it? So what are you waiting for? Get the guide now through the link in the show notes or the description below.